Hello everyone, we're bringing you the second match of the Blullet Knockout here. Um, JoeAssaad against Ghadzelaadz. This is the first seed against the 16th seed in the 16-player knockout tournament. So, let's see how well Ghadi can do against his most esteemed opponent who got to the final in the last Blullet Knockout. Alright, so let's check out the games. I hope everything is working alright. You know, setting up these streams or we're recording for now, um, is kind of tricky actually. I'm not a producer. And I do appreciate now how much work goes into producing these big time chess events. Anyway, let's start out with the chess here. So we're seeing this Karo Khan line, which I do play, and this is a line that's actually been featured in games such as the infamous Duda Carlsen game, where Carlsen lost his lossless streak. Um, uh, yeah, so Duda played this as white and beat Carlsen. This is a very tricky line to play as white, though I have experience with it as white. You do castle long in general and push the h-pawn as Ghadi here is doing, and yeah, so let's see how this proceeds here. So long castles, Joe is really discouraging long castles now. Um, yeah, long castles is just not a good idea in this position here. This exact position because of bishop takes a2, of course. And yeah, what else is there? So it's difficult to see how white will proceed here. I guess there were some inaccuracies in the opening a bit. Okay, just let me make sure everything is alright here. Okay. Alright. So yeah, if you have to castle short here in this line, probably something a bit inaccurate was played in the opening, because allowing this b5 so early on by black isn't so optimal. Let's go back a bit actually. Maybe we can see here what went wrong. So bishop e3. Maybe bishop e3 first and then long castles is more correct, right? Yeah, this is what I usually play. Pushing h4 immediately is probably too early. I'm not familiar though. This might be another way to play the line. You know, in chess nowadays it's difficult to say if this is, oh yeah, this is incorrect, or if this is just another way to play the line. So that's a bit unclear for me. Um, uh, yeah, so, but Ghadi here is doing a good job. Not, I mean, playing dynamically against an opponent who outtrates you by so much, that's very important. And yeah, he's not afraid here. He's not afraid. Um, uh, Pushing here the h-pawn, trying to get some counterplay on the king side. Of course, the problem is his king is on the king side. So maybe taking a chapter from Habash's book, if you've watched the last match of this, the previous match of this event, the Blullet Knockout, Habash was pushing his kingside pawns when he was castled kingside, and it worked out effectively, so maybe it'll work out for Ghadi here. Um, at the same time, though, it's difficult a bit to see how white would proceed here. Like, okay, you get this, like, Joe can play g6 now, for example, and I mean, g6 seems to be the only move, right? Yeah, I don't know why he spent so much time here. When you have an only move, just play it. Yeah. But okay, I mean, I guess Joe is calculating what happens later, but usually that's a bad idea when you have an only move. Just play it and then you can calculate on the board. Um, anyway, so yeah, it's difficult to foresee how white will proceed. Maybe some queenside kind of ideas with b3, c4. I guess that could be a good idea. And Now maybe some... okay, I like queen d2, okay, perhaps insinuating some kind of bishop f4 ideas. Yeah, that seems logical. The idea behind bishop f4, of course, is you just want to get rid of your bishop, which is on like the color complex of most of your active pawns, let's say, the one in the center, for example. And you're getting rid of this strong bishop, and then you'd be left with, let's say, this bishop, which is supposedly a bit stronger. So yeah, that's in principle the idea, I guess. Now Joe using up his time. Obviously, first of all, an obvious sign of respect. He outrates his opponent by over 600 points, 650 points, and yeah, that's a, I mean, that's a sign of respect, and also a sign of good chess. You need to always respect your opponent because you just have to play chess. You can't win on ego alone. That's a nice way to put it, which I just came up with now. Okay, bishop d5 is a very active move. Now, when you see these bishops here, you're kind of reminded of that Anand, well, Aronian versus Anand game, which was very interesting. The Tata Steel one, 2012, I believe, in the Semislav. It's a very famous game. So yeah, what an amazing game, and it yeah, showcased these kinds of very strong bishops. So yeah, that's a very good move, just activating the bishop, and also maybe activating the knight as well with these ideas. Now Ghadi here follows up with his plan. He wants to I need to check that. Okay, just need to check that his camera is working, because yeah, I don't look at the cameras when I'm streaming because of the setup I have. Whoa, whoa, whoa! This game is almost over. What happened? Ah, bishop e4. What a powerful move. Taking was not so wise, I guess, but maybe bishop takes d3 was threatened. And just this. Oof. Wow. Okay. So Joe will almost definitely get a win here in this position. That was quick. That turned around suddenly. Wow. Yeah. Not much to say. I mean, taking on e4. I mean, it's in a way it's of course like somewhat necessary, but like from a positional standpoint, I'm thinking. But yeah, tactically, I guess it's just not working. The rook comes into the game, and yeah, that was quick. Rook e4, rook h4. Whoa, 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 whoa. That's a really quick one. Okay, so still though, like White's position was definitely before bishop takes e4. I don't think there's much there. I mean, black is probably starting to get better there because of the active bishops, while white lacks any clear plans. At best, they have like b3, c4, which isn't such a great idea. But I mean, it's a fine idea, but it's a bit slow in terms of the needs of the position. But yeah, I mean, turning around so quickly, that's crazy. Um, Alright, so still Joe using up his time. He's trying to calculate the win till the end here. I guess some rook h2 stuff, though rook h2 shouldn't be all that great, right? I mean, you can play it like rook h2, king f3 maybe. Or yeah, just simply go back. Not much doing here. You have to calculate, of course, if your rook on h4 gets trapped or at least gets annoyed in some way. Yeah, I guess that's fine though. Yeah, there's no, of course, any rook trap here. Now, how does white... like, I mean, also from a match standpoint, would it be better to resign here? I mean, it's difficult, Of course, I mean, you know, you think, oh, I'm playing against Joe this position. It's going to be really difficult. But then again, he's in time pressure, and also if you're playing with that kind of mentality against Joe, that's not a good idea anyway. Like, you're playing a match, even if you're outrated by 600 points, 650 plus points, it doesn't matter. I'm saying this a bit unfairly as well. I believe Ghadi has reached 2100 plus. But what yeah, currently is a bit underrated. Oof. Oh, that works. That works. Okay. Yeah, I mean, if he gets into a queen endgame here with that pawn on h6, is that queen endgame so clear? And Joe is down to 3 seconds. Like here, I don't think it was a good match strategy to resign. King f1, I really love it. I really love King f1. Oh, look at the counterplay. Queen e5, check. Whoa, it's getting dangerous. Queen b8. Oh, he lost the pawn. Oh, but still he has a drawing mechanism. No, why not take on e6? Why not take on e6, Ghadi, man? Yeah, now this is looking bad. I mean, he doesn't have any real counterplay in this position. This looks lost. Yeah, he's just queen h8, yeah. Ouch. He had a shot there with queen takes e6 check. He had a shot. Yeah, that should give him a confidence boost though. Like, if the time gets slow, you have a shot against any opponent. And yeah, here he's going to flag, but the position is lost anyway. Tough. He had a shot there with queen takes e6. Had some kind of drawing mechanism, no? Yeah, I guess. Alright. So next up. I missed the opening. Ah, f4. And the From's Gambit. The From's Gambit. Oh, Ghadi, I don't know if you've played this before against Joe, but he knows some really nice theory in this line. So, gotta be careful here. Let's see. G3. Yup. And now it's knight e4, yes. Threatening mate with knight takes g3, h takes g3, bishop takes g3, check. Mate. Yeah. I used to play this line as white. Let me try to remember the move if I switch perspective. Yeah, it's bishop g2. Yep. Yeah, Joe knows the theory here. We've tested him out on that. He's one. I've seen him win 2 really nice games in this line. I'm in general not much of a believer in the From's Gambit. I think it's not such a great opening. I know there are some people who play the bird's opening, 1f4, and then after the From's Gambit, they make it transpose into the King's Gambit. And I myself play the King's Gambit. So how do you transpose to the King's Gambit from the From's Gambit? After 1f4, e5, you go to e4. Now, as a King's Gambit player, I do play the King's Gambit, but at the same time, I'm not a believer in the From's Gambit. So when I play the birds, sometimes I play it. I used to like have it as a second backup option, though now my second backup option is like d4 more generally. But yeah, I did have it as a backup weapon. Maybe it's the third backup weapon now. Anyway, so yeah, I don't really believe in it. So in general, I try to refute it with this line that Joe is playing. Yeah, just accept the pawn, and there's really not a whole load there. You just have to know the theory though, because if you don't, it could get really dicey. So really important to know the theory there. Yeah. All right, so let's go back to this position, maybe explain a bit about it. So, what's the point of the From's Gambit? Of course, black isn't down a pawn for no reason. He gets a lot of activity, and white has to kind of do some acrobatics to get their pieces developed. Like you see this kind of weakness already on the f pawn from from playing the birds anyway. But yeah, that could become a problem. Though also you do get this open file, or semi-open file to work with as white. But at the same time, there are some weaknesses in terms of the piece development. Like this is much more natural for black, while in some regards, like the overall character of the position with these squares kind of weakened. It's not so natural for white. So for black, it's kind of the development is smoother in a way. So here he's keeping the pressure up, but the more pieces get traded, the riskier it becomes to play this gambit, especially as you head toward an endgame. Now, of course, black also has the bishop pair in this position in particular, not in the From's gambit in general. So that's something. Okay, I was just saying the bishop pair. I mean, yeah, if you're sacrificing a pawn just to get doubled pawns on the queen side, that's not really how the gambit should be played. At the same time, like, you might be afraid of knight e4 ideas, though they don't work here, of course. But yeah, I mean, yeah, you shouldn't give up that dark square bishop, especially because the weaknesses that white has are on the dark squares. So yeah, I don't really agree with this decision, I'd say. And now Joe is applying le pressure, and the queen, like, I expect the queen side to collapse very soon, and I don't think this bodes quite well for Ghadi. Rook b8, yeah, I mean bishop takes c6 would win a rook, if it were available here. So yeah, I mean lots of pressure, lots of pressure. Though, let's speak a bit more concretely. In general terms, there's a lot of pressure, but more concretely, how does white proceed now? Knight d4 immediately is probably just completely fine. It's probably decent, but maybe there's something stronger. How would we want to play the situation in the center? With e4, e5 perhaps? Not necessary to sacrifice like that. He does play knight d4, okay. That's a very natural move. Heading perhaps to f5. Ghadi was quick to capture there. Okay, that's something he should be careful of. Just like he's too trade happy. Too trade happy in a way. I wouldn't want to capture so quickly. Maybe knight e5 is a good idea. Especially when you're down a pawn. You want to keep as many pieces as possible on the board, of course. So yeah, I mean that's not such a great idea. At least use your time. Think about the decision. Taking on d4 so quickly, I don't know. Anyway, now I mean c6 doesn't work, and b6 creates like the c6 hole, which is kind of annoying. He just chucks the pawn. He chucks the pawn. I mean, I guess this is his idea, but yeah, I mean, concretely it does work, right? Because taking here, you just take with the queen, and taking like this, you just take here, and you take with the queen. And after like takes here, and you take back, takes here, you take back, and your rook e1 is simply met by bishop g4. And the rook doesn't appear on the square, so there are no counter punches by taking the c and a pawns. Yeah, kind of works, I guess. But is it? Yeah, I mean that's the best option, because c6 would have run into simply bishop takes c6, but after this is available, and b6 creates the c6 hole. Now Joe inviting this kind of trade, he's like denying the beef. Yeah, I thought Joe's idea was after rook e1, you're denying the g4 square, so bishop h5 is kind of worse, because then you have rook e5. But instead he has a different rook idea in mind, rook f5, simply trying to trap the bishop. and it's very difficult to get out of this trap. That's a much better idea. Whoa. The game might already be over. How do you get out of this bishop trap? I mean, if you simply defend with rook e8, I mean, king f2, rook e1 is coming, and bye-bye bish. And any g6, you just move the rook. You just move the rook out of the way. Let's say to a5. Yeah, I mean, rook a5 is also a threat in this position. c6. c6? Yeah, I mean, I was saying, like, if g6 and... Okay, you move the rook out of the way. Like, you have the h5 square available, but that's not helping because g4 is coming anyway, and that bishop would be trapped. But c6, neither here nor there. I love how Joe is spending his time here. Very, very accurate. But it came to bite him in the last game, so he should be careful not to overthink things here. I don't get what happens after king f2, rook e1 though. What is this point? I mean, there are ideas like with they don't work, but like yeah, using the other rook so that after king f2 you have bishop g4, but it doesn't work because simply not simply because after takes, because then you take here, but they don't work because after you come with the rook here and go bishop g4, I can simply take, because taking here the king is protected. Okay, so Joe being over accurate here, playing rook e5, though of course like anything like rook a5 just works. Yeah, I mean Ghadi kind of... Okay, continuing here, no, Ghadi, stop please, bro. Oh no. Let me check out his reaction here. He seems unwavering. Yeah, doesn't seem to be phased much. But yeah, I would definitely resign here. From a match perspective, it's inexplicable, honestly, to continue this position. Better to get more games in as well, to have more fun anyway. I mean, it's Ghadi winning this match from a probability perspective, that's like a 1 in a trillion chance. Not to take anything away, but I mean, the rating speaks for itself. So yeah, I would want to get more games and to be able to learn more. Continuing this position, you learn nothing. Okay, hopefully this will be... Okay, he doesn't. He's not convinced. Maybe after the Jawad match, everyone here is more happy to continue these kinds of positions. But yeah, that's definitely not correct. Okay. Back to e4, and Joe switches it up. For no real reason. I mean, he could definitely continue playing that, but... Haha! The Vienna. A favorite of Hikaru's and Levy's. Let's see. What does Ghadi know here? So at least it's a very normal position. I guess Queen G3 is the move here already. Just applying pressure on the G7 square. Okay, maybe it's not the move. I don't know. Okay, Queen B8 now. I'm not really familiar with this exact position from the Vienna. I mean, I play the King's Gambit anyway, but yeah, this exact position. Like Queen B8, attacking B2 and attacking C2. Like, I'm greedy here. I want to take Bishop takes C2. I'm not seeing the idea for white. Maybe there's Knight F3, Knight D4. Maybe after taking there's whoopsie loopsie. But yeah, I don't know. Okay, I mean, of course, white has nice development. And you can't care too much about the queenside pawns as black because white has a lot of counterplay with knight f3 and the rook bearing down on the f file. That being said, though, is there anything wrong with like queen b8 and following up with bishop c5, preventing castling? Okay, I mean queen b8, knight f3, queen takes b2, being hyper greedy, just castles, and knight d4 is going to come. Probably isn't so good. And white always has these bishop f6 ideas. If, like, for example, this occurs on castles, bishop f6 is going to be huge. With queen g5, queen h6, queen g7 mate ideas, of course. So not so simple. Not so simple. Alright. Let's see what Joe is going to come up with. Usually, usually in chess, any long think, wrong think. That's the famous Kramnik quote. I don't know how famous it is actually. Sometimes I remember once trying to find it, googling it, and it didn't really work. But yeah, that's usually the saying. Long think, wrong think. Whoa! Why so quickly, Ghadi? Why not queen takes g7 here? Is it not at all an idea? Just queen takes g7. Okay, I get long castles occurs, but... Okay, Ghadi says he's not interested. He wants to... Maybe this is still theory. I have no idea. Someone needs to update me on that. Okay, knight d4. Yeah, I mean... This is almost definitely one of the best positions Ghadi has had at the entire match. He seems really focused. Just checking the camera now. So, yeah. It's boding well. The time is also, of course, on his side. Yeah, overall, pretty impressive stuff in the Vienna here. Pretty impressive theory. Okay. And yeah, Joe just going back to the natural square and protecting. Okay, c5 may now be a threat. So Ghadi does have to watch out here. I mean, there's a lot of queenside counterplay, of course. And at the same time, like white's counterplay with h4, h5, h6, it kind of seems slow, so I don't know. Maybe it's not so great actually for white. There are some like rook e1, e6, yeah, something. Oh, hold on. Oops. Yeah, stop pressing so many buttons. Okay, he does go h4. So maybe I was thinking like also another idea would be this, and after bishop takes, knight f5, and if f takes, queen takes c7, applying some pressure here. Perhaps with knight takes c6 ideas, but then there's some rook c8 ideas as well. Maybe not so great. Probably, yeah, rook e1 is just the wrong direction. h4. Okay, he doesn't play c5. Mildly surprising. I mean, yeah, I guess he argues that c5 now is going to be even stronger. That could also be an idea. All right. Yeah, I'm kind of at a loss for words here. What should white play? Like if knight, of course, yeah, knight f3 just doesn't make sense. Some kind of advanced prophylaxis against c5, right? Though. It does make some sense. It does make some sense. Of course, having it, like, you don't want to move your knight back like that. Yeah, I don't know. Oh, this. Okay, what's the point here? This is a very strange move. It's similar to the other rook being on e1. Um, but then, like, the rook on h1 now doesn't make much sense. So the question of which rook here. I've noticed, like, in the previous game as well, I disagreed with the question of which rook with Ghadi, and here as well. Yeah. Yeah, I should have probably gone for like knight f3 or at least h5. I don't know. Rook d1 makes for a strange impression. Knight b3. What? Why are you allowing a4 a3? I mean, like if you go knight f3, at least after a4, like if you go knight f, if you go knight f3, at least after a4, you have the option to play a3, which may not be so great. I mean, here you'd rather play after, wait for a3 and play b3, of course. Yeah, but I mean, at least you have that in reserve somewhat, and you don't lose the tempo, of course, in going there, which is critical in this position. Like white has just played h4, while the tempo play has been dictated by black. So that's a big issue. That's a big issue, of course. I mean, yeah, I don't see really a way for white to proceed now. It's difficult to. These kinds of positions are so ugly because against a strong player, it's really difficult to foresee how you're going to even trick them, like come up with some kind of counterplay. It's just, yeah, you just end up defending like this, and this will obviously not work. Even c4 now. C4 now seems decent. Yeah. Queen a3 is the idea. And something crazy like taking on c4 twice. Actually, taking once, yeah, the queen on g3 is doing a good job protecting against a3. But of course, this kind of defense won't last much longer. Though Ghadi will still try, and he's making a good job out of this. Ah, right. Rook a8. Threatening mate. Not mate exactly, you do have knight b1, but yeah, this is game over. At knight b3 now, just rook takes b3. Protecting a1, but boom. And no matter how you recapture, rook a1 is coming with the loss of the rook. He goes knight b1. Very creative defense. I mean, it's basically the only move. Yeah. I would have preferred maybe just knight e4, trying to go knight f6, and opening up a square for the king. That would have been better, I believe. Anyway. Rook takes b1 check. Joe is not missing that, Ghadi. Yeah. Just a classic, remove the defender, and it's GG. So, tres. It's tres. 3 games for Mr. Joe. Okay, Ghadi continuing here. What are you doing, man? Okay. Good thing Joe ends it here because, yeah, Ghadi, just play the match clock. Play for more games. Okay. So let's see how Ghadi will try to recover here. Joe playing 1b3. Interesting. Let's see what Ghadi has in store against 1b3. It's standard like in normal looking setup, but you do allow this bishop takes f6 ideas, which generally I prefer not to. Now most players who play 1b3 do not go for any bishop takes f6 ideas, but yeah, okay, just personal preference. Okay, now this is starting to look like some kind of b3 Sicilian without c5, of course. I mean, it's not a proper Sicilian, but like you get this proper center, and black is fianchettoing, and white has this powerful fianchetto as well. Of course, white is to be preferred simply because of the central situation. Two central pawns versus only one for black, and not much. I mean, it's technically not even a central pawn. An extended central pawn for black, with the pawn being on d6 there. Yeah. Okay, so Joe is thinking here what setup to follow. I mean, e5 is of course a tempting option. This is kind of also reminiscent a bit of the Peert's defense, if you guys are familiar with those positions. The ones arising after e4, d6, d4, knight f6, followed by g6 later on. Yeah, okay. Okay, I mean, let's try to think with white here. What kind of setup do you want to go for? e5 now is definitely too early. You just take and knight g4 and some problems alongside the e5 pawn. I mean, on the e5 pawn and in general. And here maybe just e5 exactly, just as I was going to say it. And Ghadi takes a sip from his cup. Confidence. E5, yeah. Okay, I mean, I'm kind of sounding like some commentators there, trying to overanalyze body language cues, which usually don't mean much. Okay, Joe, completely changing the character of the position with this d5 move. Completely changing the character of this position, as now it's a closed position and not a potentially semi-open one after the pawn tension being after the pawn tension would have been retained with just playing like knight f3 on it or something like that. Now Joe does have a space advantage, of course, here, but at the same time, like his bishop on b2 doesn't make a whole load of sense now. It's kind of being stifled a bit, while black's bishop, like there's this also from the Peert's defense, there's also this important concept that this bishop isn't so bad because the d4 pawn is blocking it, but you have access to this square because the bishop kind of x-rays the square, while this bishop is much worse because you don't have access to this square and you're biting on granite here. So yeah, the difference in bishops here is key. Now Joe goes for a remaneuvering here with knight d2, opening up for this bishop. Perhaps now bishop g4 is something important because this bishop could be very strong. Instead, Joe goes a completely different route and goes g4, opening up the position, or trying to open up the position on the king side. That's a very clever decision because black's play here, of course, you see the pawns are pointed like this, so you have to play f5 and start attacking on the king side. That's a standard idea in the King's Indian defense. But Joe notices this and goes for one of the ancient King's Indian defense lines, which is to simply play g4 and start your own attack as white. Just or at least not castle there and not let black attack you. Though that of course does come with a lot of strategic risk, but if it does work out, it's going to be a massacre. Now Ghadi playing an important move. This is also a move you can see in the Svechnikov sometimes, bishop f4. The idea of course is to get out of the bishop being shut out of the game after g5, and after h5 not seeing any g takes, and the bishop falling because it's unprotected. Now it's on a protected square. But of course here you have to be careful of any knight e2 annoyances, especially with this bishop here, contrary to the Svechnikov, where usually this bishop is traded. So that's a very important difference, because if knight e2, knight takes f4 does occur, usually in the Svechnikov you're happy to see this because you gain the e5 square. But now the bishop would be opened up, and with Joe trying to attack here, It's going to be a massacre. So yeah, that would be a very very bad outcome there. So bishop f3. This is Joe's plan. Knight e2 is coming. Ghadi has to watch out here. I mean, worst case scenario, maybe like knight e2. I would play maybe knight c4 first. I mean, bishop f3 is quite clever in some sense because you're overprotecting e4. So what that means is if you play knight c4 with the idea being, why do I want to play knight c4? Because after knight e2 maybe this could be an idea. And the point here is that of course giving up the dark squared bishop isn't such a great idea in general anyway. But here you're kind of forced to because allowing takes is much worse. Now at the same time there's also the argument that if you take here and takes back, there is f4 at some point, but then the bishop is blocking it. So maybe even something like bishop f1 was better. I'm dilly-dallying so much here. I'm saying so many different things, just trying to think out loud here. But the point I was trying to make was that after knight e2, you don't really want to see this because then it's much worse. Then you're not allowing knight takes f4. So maybe you play knight c4 first, because then you're threatening knight e2 and knight takes f4, and knight c4 is not the kind of move that would be so obvious to come as a threat. So you'd think, okay, my pawn is just remaneuvering. You wouldn't really think that the point is knight e2, knight takes f4. And also, I was saying the bishop on f3 was good because, like, after you move knight c4 and knight e2, you wouldn't have any protectors. But thankfully, to this bishop and any protectors of e4, you are protecting e4. Okay, Joe continues with the strategic point, just playing a5, a4, cementing all of that play on the queen side. Of course, White would love to play on the queen side here, but he switched gears anyway. That was his decision previously. So very, very rich strategic battle in this position. Yeah, and I was saying back then that maybe bishop f1 was better because if knight e2 occurs and there's like bishop takes d2 check, queen takes d2, f4, at least with the bishop being on f1 you can play f4 immediately, while on f3 you can't. Okay, what a decision by Ghadi. f5, throwing a wrench in the spanners. And this is, I think, like the only move in this position. You're getting attacked on the king side. You notice on the queen side you don't really have much there. a5, a4. You're completely shut out of the queen side. You have to do something on the king side. Even though Joe is trying to go for an attack there, you have to do something. You have to. It's just not possible to continue the game otherwise. Otherwise you just get crushed strategically. With slow moves like knight c4, knight e2, these kinds of ideas. So very, very nice play by Ghadir. Okay, I think king h8 is automatic here. What? Why? Okay, where is the king running to? Okay, king f7, king e7. Then what? Where are you going? You're never finding safety with your king there. While on the king being on h8, you found perfect safety. That's a bad decision, and you're kind of making Joe relax here. He's in time pressure, so you need to put up some pressure. That's... Oh, and opening up. At least play f4, man. At least here, like... Play f4 at least. Play f4. At least then it would be more difficult for White to break through. Now, like, f4 even at some point is coming, and... Yeah, not so good. Okay, still not perfectly clear how White proceeds. Okay, let me... I just have to remember in time pressure to keep an eye out on the cameras. Yeah, f4, the move we've been talking about. Maybe even bishop takes h7 here. Yeah, I mean, no reason not to take that pawn, right? Definitely. Okay, he argues the bishop is protecting, but... Yeah, this headed south really quickly. Already trying here, but yeah, he's just getting mated now. Okay. Hmm. Yeah. Okay, so Reddy said something there. Not sure what. We have him on mute anyway. Okay, yeah, I mean, that's tragic. I love the 5. Just King H8. King F7 was crazy. Okay, the French. Okay, Joe picking a different opening in every single game so far. So let's see what Ghazi Ghazi what Ghadi has in store here. Yeah, this is already not looking so great, right? I think he messed up the theory. This isn't the theoretical line, right? I've forgotten a lot of my advanced French theory. It's been years since I've played this. This is natural. Bishop c2, I don't think you play with bishop d7, right? Or do you? Here, bishop b5. I think this might be a line, actually. Ah, I hate it. Like, I don't know. Is this a line? Is this not? I think there's actually a Lebanese player who plays this exact same line against Joe sometimes as well. I think so. But how are you castling as white? I don't get it. Like knight a3 now, there's just bishop a6. So what do you do? I don't know. A4. Ah, maybe b4, but now just bishop c4, right? And your pawns are very weak. Maybe after bishop c4, just knight a3, and if like queen takes b2, simply knight takes c4, d takes c4, and you your castle, and avoid the hassle at least. And you have rook b1 ideas. That could be good. And if bishop a6, now b4, intending b5. Huh. Maybe that's how the line should be played. Or maybe Joe shouldn't have played knight e7. He could have considered knight h6 at the very least, which is a common French idea. Wait, yeah, b4 now? What's... Wait, isn't this bishop... What? Is this bishop getting trapped? Yeah, of course, bishop c4. I mean, I don't mean trapped in the trapped sense, but... Ah, now, what am I talking about? Now knight a3, just queen takes b4, check. Still! Nah, but there's queen takes a4. Yeah, yeah, that's not good. Yeah. Okay, so I was saying here, knight a3, queen takes b4, check this. And we go back to the same idea of taking here and castling. But first of all, you can recapture with the queen now. That's one thing, in contrast to the other queen takes b2 line. And there's also even queen takes b4, queen takes a4, and after knight takes c4, you again capture with the queen. So not a good idea. Okay, rook b1. This bishop, this light squared bishop is so annoying. Okay, you kick out the... Maybe you have bishop d2, but that doesn't work either. I was thinking like bishop d2, knight e3, but there's even bishop d3. And even after bishop d2, which he does play, maybe like bishop d3 now. So annoying. Ah, that doesn't... It does! I was thinking takes, 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 But takes comes with check, so that doesn't work. So you can play, I guess, bishop d3 now, right? Not much reason not to. Okay, he doesn't even bother with that. Wisely so, but now like knight e3. Okay, knight e3, bishop d3. Bishop b4, trying to trade off bishops. Yeah. Okay, getting into some kind of endgame is much better. Maybe even a crazy move like this, which you know Ghadi wants to play. Ah, this just loses a pawn. Yeah. Okay, now the game is over. He took that decision way too quickly. He took that decision way too quickly. Yeah, probably we have some time for another game, right? Yeah, way more, way, quite some time for another game. Yeah, yeah, he took that decision way too quickly. He had much better there, of course. Now this is just a pawn down end game. I mean, he makes some really nice defensive moves that, like, when you have an idea in mind in chess, a good idea is better than having no idea. And there's also the contrary saying of a bad, not having any idea is better than having a bad idea. So, who's right? uh, yeah. Still, though, I would say at least in this case, having a bad idea is better than not having any idea at all, because at least you're putting up some problems for your opponent. So it's important also to come up with counterplay, stuff like that, and defensive resources that make your opponent think. So yeah, at least yeah, this is good. Joe's has been thinking quite a bit in this match. But the clinching ideas by Radi, like this king f7, I can't get over it, and here as well, just trading into playing knight d2, giving up the pawn. I mean, I bet he just blundered the pawn, but yeah, I mean, these kinds of things, uh, not so great. You'd rather avoid them from happening. Avoid them happening. Okay, yeah, I mean, I'm a bit, I don't know. I'm not so enthused to commentate on this position. It just seems like a very simple black crush because white has zero counterplay. I mean, what ideas do you have here as white to try to create some chances? I'd love to see like Carlsen coming up with some kind of idea in this position, or Naka, for example, is a really tricky player. I like what Reddy is doing, but of course G3 here you have to play it. But yeah, I mean, not much to say. Not much to say. G3. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, black just controls the c file, has a very nice pawn structure, and is simply a billion pawns up. 2 pawns up. It just seems like a crush here. Knight c4, I guess, at some point as well. Maybe after you get your c8 rook out of its prison there. So get it to some kind of square rook c2, knight c4. And yeah, there isn't much there. Okay, Red is still trying, but I mean, here it doesn't really matter. This game definitely isn't going to go on for 6 more minutes, so resigning here and trying to get one more game in doesn't really make much of a difference. You're going to play one more game anyway in this time control. Alright. just remembering something. Okay. Rook takes b6, knight takes b6, rook b1, and Joe resigns. No. Yeah. Okay, just rook takes. Rook takes d4. Not necessary, of course. I mean, not really perfect play, of course, to allow rook takes b7 here. Wait, that doesn't work. What am I talking about? Rook takes b7. Of course, just rook takes d4. Rook c8 doesn't work. Rook b8 doesn't work. There's rook c4. Right. Yeah, so Joe didn't mess up anything there. Of course. I mean, even if you do mess up anyway, you still have a passed a pawn. Yeah, now the knight is inching closer. Nicely maneuvering there by Joe. Just getting the knight whoop into the game. And now it's a very sad tale. I mean, personally, I'd resign. Okay, it doesn't make a difference. One game. But and Joe might lose, like, I don't know, on connection here. But it's not really fun to play these positions. Then again, you could argue you kind of work on your defensive skills. Like let's go back here. I don't care much about the ongoing game. Like here, this h4 g3 idea. That's interesting. I mean, maybe against a weaker player, it might work to kind of like you're still in the game, and at some point they feel like they're not in the game anymore. So it might work sometimes. Here, like Joe, okay, he just wins a piece outright. The knight on d3, that was the threat. But here he might have had half a mind to play rook takes d3. Okay, Ghadi does resign. One more game. So I mentioned this actually. This will probably be this will, yeah, almost definitely, unless someone resigns really quickly. So let me mention it. So this will be the last 5+1 game. Let me remind myself of the mercy clause here. We do have a mercy clause. Sorry guys, just checking. Okay. If halfway through the 3+1, one side is leading by 12 points, the match is automatically resigned. If at the beginning of the 1+1, one side is leading by 9 points, the match is automatically resigned. Okay. So, yeah, I mean, I've made it into a clause, not a rule. I mean, a rule, not a clause. I mean, basically, the match is forcibly resigned. Now, knowing these two players, I think they'd want to continue if such a score does occur. Yeah, so I don't know if I'll cover it or why not? Why not? I mean, I guess if both players want to, why not? Okay, sometimes I'm afraid like the recording is paused somehow. But yeah, it's not. Okay, so sorry, I missed this opening. Trompo. And c5. It's principled because you have the bishop pair opening up the position as such, but I found that in these positions, white kind of finds a way back to getting a static structure, which is really annoying. So what I'm talking about here is something something like taking on d5, queen takes d5, knight c3, queen d8. Yeah, and just playing that kind of position. I don't know. Okay, anyway, let me stop the match clock. Let's go back here. Okay, yeah, this is kind of one of the positions I was talking about, though here it's much worse because Queen b3 is coming and yeah, Queen b3 is going to be very annoying. Probably knight d5 even. Yeah, not really liking this position for black. Usually I'm someone who likes the bishop pair, but yeah, this seems like white has a lot of solidity. Queen a4, intending bishop b5, I guess. Even long castles is not crazy, oof. I like that idea, to be honest, though maybe a bit too risky. Yeah, rook d1, why castle? Why long castles? No need to do that. Rook d1. Rook d1. I guess a6 is basically forced. Is something crazy like knight c6 possible? Probably not. Definitely not. What kind of crazy things are possible? Let's try to think, because Joe will find them. Maybe knight d5 even. With like knight b6, queen takes d7 check ideas? Are these cool ideas or what? Boom! King takes and some kind of discovery. I don't know. Probably doesn't work, right? But does look like fun. Okay, bishop d5, just simply applying pressure here. Reasonable. Reasonable. What should black play? I guess queen b6 is like the only move. What's the reply after queen b6 by white? Queen b6, you're threatening taking on b2, of course. A super important pawn, definitely. Rook b8 also very logical, though I'm always afraid of these knight c6 ideas. So what now? What now? Joe really spending his time. I love it. I love all of this. Yeah, just how much time he spends. It's crazy. I mean, at the same time, though, don't want to get into time pressure. So be careful of that. Be very careful of that. Okay. Simply castles. Yeah, that's why I preferred rook d1. No need to go crazy and long castles there, of course. Okay, and now just bishop c5 maybe. These kinds of alignment issues are very scary though. Maybe bishop e7 and be a bit more passive, but maybe a bit more safe, because bishop c5, you're kind of getting into some loose piece ideas scenarios. I mean, all of these. All of these you're getting into loose piece scenarios. Yeah, so what I was saying was like, yeah, having the bishop here only protected by this knight, which is not protecting it, so it's basically a loose piece scenario. Not something you want to avoid, and there's already a lot of pressure here anyway, so maybe just bishop e7 and castles and don't overthink it. So now like oh yikes. Okay. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I of course was talking about 96, but I didn't think it was available so soon. Dang. Okay, I'm stunned. Let's take a look here. Actually, just take a look at the analysis now. Because I'm really interested in this game. Let me ask them if they want to break or continue. Or to continue. What? 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 The engine doesn't approve of this? What? Okay, Joe says he wants a break. Why is this wrong? Turn on the engine. Ah, bishop f5. Lol. And there's nothing. I mean, not nothing, of course. You have a lot of compensation for the piece. And you'll win it back, yeah. Okay, so the engine thinks Reddy resigned in a drawn position. Not a draw, of course, but I mean, a slightly better position for white. Okay, that's interesting. I mean, yeah. I mean, he wasn't resigning in like positions where Joe had the queen up, and here he resigned where there was nothing that was so bad. So, ah, kind of annoyance. Kind of sad. Kind of sad. Okay. Yeah, I mean, 2 minutes. Should we maybe take a look at another game? Maybe let's do that. I'm interested in the game where Joe went. Yeah, of course, just King H8, but I'm looking at the eval here. Minus 0.7. The engine even thinks that white is better here, which isn't so surprising. I mean, black is better. I mean, because white's counterplay is not clear. Okay, they're saying they're ready. Yeah, that's tragic. That's tragic. Anyway, back to this. Okay, let's start the counter for the 3+1. Okay, are they in the match? Okay, I've started the counter now. Just need to. I think I may need to take care of these sniffles I'm having. Let me just have the match be. Yeah. All right. Hopefully. All right. Let's go back to this match. All right. So le Dutch. The Dutch here. Bishop g5. One of the most common anti-Dutch lines, I would say. And Joe knows a lot of theory in this line. Not going for the more standard. Actually, what am I talking about? No, that's another line, right? Yeah. Bishop h4 is usually more common. Plus g5, there's e3. Yeah, that's the more common line. Anyway, going for bishop f4, and now you got this standard position. Black castling. White, I mean, seeing the match situation and how much your opponent outrates you by, just long castles here, I would say. Yeah, so Joe's considering his options. Definitely seems scary. Early h4s are very scary against the Dutch, especially if you play the Leningrad Dutch. I used to play the Leningrad sometimes and the Stonewall for quite a bit. Yeah, but they were very, very scary, these h4 lines. Okay, d6, standard fare. In the Dutch, you always want to go for le e5, the e5 idea. Okay, h5. Makes sense to grab space there. Oh, Joe, queen e8 is a standard move, of course, in the Dutch. You want to go queen g6 and start an attack. But here Joe is insinuating, hello, I want to capture your pawns. And Ghadi here doesn't let him. Smart. Okay. Taking here, wow, wow. That's a quick decision. Not the light one to make. I guess you always have f3. Just play f3 now. Queen d2 and long castles. And hope for the best. Bishop f3. That's far too safe for my standards. Okay, now maybe bishop f3 and you castle short and just castle short and queen g4. Queen g4 now, for example. Yeah, queen g4 is definitely a good idea. Queen g4, actually, aren't you threatening e6 and bishop takes h6? That's becoming a problem here. Problemo. Yeah, isn't this Bing a threat? And isn't this a threat? And Bing also at some point Bing. So how is this not good for white, actually? I don't know. Oh, that's clever. The argument is that if bishop takes h6 here, knight e7, there's nothing. Huh. That's so cold-blooded. I mean, it's the only move probably, but probably, yeah. I mean, I'm not analyzing all other moves in this time control, but yeah, yeah, it's so cold-blooded and like disheartening for Ghadi. Okay, he does castle long. Smart. But now, how do you proceed with the attack as white? It's nowhere near being clear. This move, is this so good? Takes on e5 and The bishop does open up, of course. Yeah, no, of course this is a good move. I mean, e5 is the standard move in the Dutch anyway, and now there's pressure, the pieces are active. Queen f6. Yeah, starting. Okay, no, queen f6, you hang this, so maybe not. Actually, I mean, it's probably just an equal position, if I'm being honest here. He does, okay, doesn't care about e4. Which is reasonable as well. I mean, after queen takes e4, white's queen isn't so happy either. Okay, so this match is heading the stretch. We're already 6 minutes in. Yeah, probably difficult anyway for anyone to get a 12-0 halfway in. But a 9-0 may be possible. Not maybe, I mean, it's definitely possible. Queen takes c6? What? What's going on here? c6? What? What happened? What? Joe? What? What? Very strange. Ah, rook c2, rook c2, yeah. Yeah, he messed it up again. Okay, take d6 maybe, and after taking on c4, maybe just b4 and try to live. Okay, queen f4 getting the queen back. Yeah, that's good. Now b4, there's no rook d7. Even better. Oh, don't lose on time. Oh god, don't. No, no, no. What are you doing, man? Come on, Ghadi, we want just one upset, okay? I mean, it's just important for the match. You can't get adopted here, bro. Of course, Joe fully deserves to win all of his games, but it's exciting for the match. It's exciting for the match. Okay, that was really smudge, which is a combination of Saj and Madge. Right. Yeah. Okay, what kind of position do we have here? What's this? Ah, the hillbilly. Hillbilly attack. Okay, I mean, I don't really love this name, by the way, but that's what it's called. And I probably shouldn't be making this kind of sound. Anyway. So the standard idea here with, I mean, if the bishop weren't here, rook takes f6, takes, takes. That's the idea, and the bishop is bearing down here. Nice chain. I like this. I like this. Though usually it's a bad idea to get your bishop here when you're fianchettoed, because you're always susceptible to these kinds of ideas. Anyway. Yeah. Okay. It does play it. What happens after knight takes g4? Ah, what we were talking about. But it's not mate. Can you maybe just risk it for the biscuit? King f6? Bishop takes g4. That's outright insanity. Whoa. Oh no. That's a crush. That's an arena crush. Okay, maybe h6. h5. No, that's not helping. Now just rook f1, rook e f1. Or even rook f1. Yeah, not looking swell. Okay. Ghadi maintaining his composure, of course. And Joe thinking here. Probably a bit unnecessary, to be honest. Yeah, just rook ef1. He's maybe trying to conjure some rook takes f7 ideas. I didn't think of bishop f5, but yeah, I mean, it's just too much. Take back. Oh, okay. That's a very nice. Yeah, that's a very nice sportsmanship, display of sportsmanship. Nice. Okay. Yeah, I'm always in favor of these things. I mean, if it's a clear mouse slip, why not? Okay, now knight takes f7 check. Yeah, you're even getting mated. Yeah. Not forcibly though after king g7, but yeah, it's pretty bad, to say the least. Okay, okay, we have an 8-0. Can we get an adoption here by Joe? Yeah. Okay. Okay. Take backs by both players. Both players misclicking here. Yeah, I was surprised about f3. Like, what kind of move is f3? Yeah, f4, of course. Alright. So, this is some kinds of... Some kinds... Wait, how did this arise? If we find it. Yeah, this is some kind of King's Gambit line declined with Bishop c5. Yeah, and it's... Yeah, you have to be careful here as white, because you're not getting your king castled anytime soon, so you need to play this precisely. With specific pawn pushes on the queen side, from what I'm remembering, it's not so easy. You have to be careful of these ideas. Of course, now they don't work, but like, yeah. And of course, c6, d5. That's an important idea, just opening up the center when your king is in the center. So not so easy. Okay. Yeah. Okay, g6. Yeah, I'm trying to remember that King's Gambit line. Okay, knight a4. Yes, yes, yes. Very, very good. You want to get rid of this duck's with bishop. If you're able to castle here, see. Joe is on point. Joe is on point. Yeah, no, you can't play that. Okay, queen, no. Yeah, see, that's the very, very precise. Move by move play. Very precise by Joe. It's going to be difficult to come back from this now. Queen g4 blocking queen h4 check, of course, runs into this, and this allows queen h4 check. Okay. He just sees that that's the only option, and probably it is. And you do get a nice bishop pair. Let's not forget about that. Let's not forget about that. Yeah, I can see here the point. Yeah, just taking care of some sniffles here. Okay. Should be goose now. Should be a goose now. Doesn't take the rook. Crazy. He wants some knight GE2 check ideas or whatever. I guess, or knight DE2 check ideas. So this knight. Yeah, because this is crazy and your only move then is this, and then you can take, but then maybe taking. Yeah, I don't know. Was this so correct by Joe? What am I missing? I don't really understand. I mean, of course, after knight d2 check ideas, after knight d2 check, king h2, but then there's maybe rook e1. Yeah, is that so clear? Okay, what did Joe play? Oh, he castled. Okay. Queen g4. What? What? No. Why? And so quickly played. Okay, the rook is trapped. The rook is trapped. Yeah. The rook is trapped. King h2. There's still. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Still, though. I don't know. I don't know. Okay. Bishop f4. What's the idea? Just protect f7. Maybe taking on f7 would have been better. Yeah, I mean protecting e5. That's not such an important pawn in comparison to the f pawn, right? Okay, Reddy perhaps going for b4 and some queenside counterplay. Joe prevents b5. Very, very, very in tune. Okay. Yeah, difficult to foresee how White is going to come back from this, though it looked like he had some chance there. This. What? Wait, what? No, no, what? No, what? Just take and f6. Huh? Taking and f6, that would have won, no? Now this ain't winning. Ah. Ah, nice. Nice. Yes, that's the idea. Nice, nice. That was unfortunate. That was unfortunate. Yeah. Difficult to gauge here the reaction by Ghadi, but yeah. Okay, back to f4 and Ghadi going for b6. Interesting. Yeah, that was unfortunate. Wasn't f6 just winning there? Rook takes c1 f6. I'm missing a lot of things though, so I don't know. Anyway, at least I can talk strategy. Tactics and commentary are difficult for me, but strategy, you don't lose that. Okay. Yeah, another one of these closed posiciones. Obviously c5 is coming. Yeah. Though he had to preface it with a6 to not allow knight b5. Yeah, I mean, still after knight c8, which is also a good move. It's not like White has anything major here, but better to not allow these kind of ideas, I would say. Okay, h5 now. Okay, a6, maybe now h5. Taking. Taking is a very, like, Ghadi makes these kinds of game-changing decisions very quickly, and that's not good. While Joe, on the other hand, he makes very non-game changing decisions slowly, which is also not so good. But I mean, for Joe there, it's part and parcel of his strategy of being a calculating type of player. So so yeah, I mean it's not like it's one of his characteristics. I mean at some point, of course, one of your strong points does become a weakness in some way, because if it's like really strong at the expense of, no, it's all about balance. So if it's really strong at the expense of some other thing, that's a problem. But yeah, for Joe, it's obviously a much better thing than having what Reddy does, which is to play quick, game-changing decisions quickly, which is of course a problem. I mean, yeah, this kind of liquidation in the center, you need to at least consider it for some seconds to make sure that there are no better other options and there's nothing else to play, or at least how good that kind of decision would be. So yeah, so yeah. Okay. Now I like this position for black, to be honest. Of course, white is going to long castle here and start some rook h1 ideas, but right. Okay, Joe flabbergasts me. And queen h4 check. Oh, uh-oh. Perhaps. I'm not sure. Let me just calculate. So, of course, if this, there's this, and this, and that's GG. Of course, that's not going to happen. But now, you're denying rook h1 as well. But if takes... Whoops. If takes... takes and this... What's so great about this? I mean, it's very dangerous, of course, and there are these pawns, but is this so clear? I don't know. Joe, of course, at this point, he's basically clinched the match. Yeah, I mean, he can stall out the rest of the match, so he's definitely clinched it. Then the mercy clause should come into effect, right? Yeah, I need to rethink the mercy clause. It's a bit too... but at the same time, it's no longer a clause, it's a rule, so at the same time, you want to be very strict in it. In a sense, because you don't want someone resigning way too early or anything. Or, I mean, forcing someone to resign way too early. Yeah, now g4 is falling, no? I guess even something like queen h5 might be the better option, but no, of course you don't want to play that. Yeah, now just queen takes g4 and there's nothing. Of course, b6 is attacked, you need to be careful. It's not so easy. And knight a4, c4 is coming, also not easy. I mean, b6 isn't actually falling, no? Knight c6. Yeah, just knight c6 maybe. Knight c6 is dangerous though, definitely. Yeah, he shouldn't have played this actually. He should not have played this. Because, I missed knight e4 being an idea as well. Of course it is. Yeah, so of course b6 isn't really hanging. You just take here with check. And he hooters. Let me go forward anyway. And yeah, here. Okay, I mean, Reddy has to win this game. He just has to. I mean, he's completely winning. But it's so tricky, especially against Joe. But I mean, okay, he's laser focused. I like it. Knight c6, of course. The rook coming in. Scary. d4? d4. Oh. Now you get to see Lebanon in action. Okay, so what happened here is the generator went out. Of course, the stream can continue. I have everything taken care of here. He went for b4. I don't like this option. Okay, yeah, the only thing now is my laptop isn't charging. Okay, now it's back. So you don't get to see, you don't get to hear the fan anymore. Anyway, okay. Let me just make sure. Okay. Oh, bishop b6 is coming. That's ooh. Yeah, time pressure. It's going to be d4. Yeah. Oh. Whoa! What? He celebrates. He celebrates. Oh, but no, that I feel sorry for Joe. I mean, of course, you have to feel sorry for Gadi. He deserves to win a game, of course. But yeah, that game for Joe, that's unfortunate. But hey, Gadi is on the scoreboard. That's what we want, of course, as commentators. It's not nice seeing a blowout, even though it's sorry. In some cases, it is nice to see a blowout. So I don't know, but no, it's nicer, of course, for everyone to be happy in some way. I doubt many would be happy about getting about losing all their games in a chess match. Okay, so back to this line in the French. That's also a bit surprising though, because I mean Joe doesn't lose on time. He's a very good bullet player, especially with increment. Though again, it might be internet issues. It might be internet issues. Um, uh, nice, nice. Rook c8 quickly played. He of course sees. I mean, just to explain. So of course, if takes, that piece is not hanging because the rook would be hanging a piece of higher value. Okay, and keeping up with these spinning ideas, Joe is. And yeah, here it's so annoying. Like he's playing this French line, and here Joe even switches it up and goes for Queen a6. Like always, white can't castle, and I mean I'm pretty sure there is a line in the French, maybe this exact same line that works like this, but it's not so pleasant, I would say. Especially against Joe, I would try to avoid such a line. Knight d1. Ah, okay. That is a clear mouse slip. Yeah, he meant queen d1, of course. Good sportsmanship by both players, though not necessary. Takebacks, takebacks are basically a courtesy. You don't. It doesn't require one to do takebacks. There's nothing requiring one to do takebacks. It's just something nice you do, but not necessary, especially in a match with a lot on the line. Even some might argue it should be discouraged, but as long as both players agree with it, it's fine, in my opinion. We don't have any, like, we shouldn't have any special powers to just deny that as organizers of chess tournaments. Yeah, so, Queen b3, Queen d2, all not good, because white is not getting castled anytime soon, and the rooks are coming on the c file to play, to prowl. Alright, so I guess this is going to be the last 3+1. Let me tell them that. And the mercy rule will, or will it? Oh, if Joe wins this game, mercy rule will be in effect. So let me type that. So he'd be ahead by 9. Joe would be. So okay, just taking on d4. Yeah, I think Ghadi will be losing this as well. Bishop c2. Interesting. Interesting. Yeah, I mean, not much to do here. You're completely pinned down. Your king is still on e1. Oh. That's even mate. That's even mate. And 3+1 is over. No, don't start this game. Don't start this game. They're going to start this game. I don't mind. Just having fun. New Year's Day. Recording some shish. They're playing, aren't they? They're not? No, they're not. Yeah. So let's see if they want to continue with the bullet. Technically, the match is over. Joe has won. Congrats to Joe. A very surprising result. But let's see if they want to continue with the bullet. I don't mind actually just streaming it. It's only 15 minutes anyway. Yeah, so Joe doesn't mind. Let's see, what about Ghadi? I need to also think, I think Ghadi is fine with an interview. Joe doesn't want an interview, and anyway, he can probably do an interview, but he doesn't want to. But Ghadi, I'm not sure. Ghadi is fine with an interview, but I'm not sure how I haven't worked out the technical details of doing the interview. Okay, so they both don't mind going on with the bullet. I love that. But okay, I don't know what happened with. Okay, Ghadi clearing the camera maybe. So are we going to get bullet or what? Yeah, I mean, hopefully they do play the bullet so I can think how to do the interview in terms of technicalities. Okay. I mean, I guess they're going to. They're both online. Are we going to see bullet? You guys want to see bullet from Joe. Trust me. You guys got to almost 2800. He reached 2798 twice. So you can consider him basically rated 2800 at his peak in bullet. Super impressive result. I think he's now at 2700 stable. So yeah. They're not making a decision. Just make a decision, guys. uh, wait. Wait, what am I talking about? Is it 40? Did I mess up the match time controls? It's 30 minutes of 3+1, right? Oh god, no. Did I mess up the match time controls? Ah. It's 45 of 3 plus 1? No, it can't be. It can't be. Someone. And I need to scroll up a lot to find it. La 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 la. I'm pretty sure it's 3 plus 1. It's 30 minutes of 3 plus 1. Ugh. It's... What is it? It's 30 minutes. It's 30 minutes. Okay, they've started. Okay, let me start the match clock. Yeah, it's 30 minutes. Okay. Okay, let me... Okay. Let me reset. Okay, and go now. Okay. Alright. Yeah, I just kind of got flustered there. I thought I messed up. I thought it was like 60. No. 5 plus 1. 5 plus 1, 60 minutes. 3 plus 1, 30 minutes. 1 plus 1, 15 minutes. Okay. Anyway, so let's just enjoy the bullet. They're going back to this line. Let's see what Ghadi has in store. I like this more than what he played previously with knight d4. That might be a slight improvement. Yeah. Okay, he goes knight d4. Now at least, like after bishop d7, he has e6 again. So Joe goes for bishop e6, also not also an improvement, but yeah, staying, like, remembering what happened in that previous game. Very clever. Okay, and now the queen is off this this f8 a3 diagonal, which is dangerous. So that's good for white. And now he can probably play b3 safely. Rook d4 I like. He's going for rook g4, not wasting time. I love this. Both sides are learning from their mistakes. I mean, Joe didn't really make any mistake in that game, but like, Ghadi is learning from his mistakes, and Joe is still punching back in a clever manner. a4, oh! Yowza. Okay, now the game is over. Quite simply. Just try e6. As white, you have to try e6 and hope for the best, but it's not going to be the best, to be honest. Yeah, so let me think a bit about how I'm going to do the interview. It's nice to queen c1. Queen c1. Was there a like queen c1, rook takes g7? Was that so bad for black? Anyway. Queen a3 mate. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, 700 rating points. Actually, it's 650 basically, as in the 5 plus 1, 3 plus 1 blitz. Okay, going back to this line. Yeah, of course, it's always a good idea to watch from Ghadi's perspective here, but maybe we want to switch to Joe's perspective now, just to give him some limelight. I don't really see the reason, to be honest. Anyway. Yeah. Okay, so I mean, just enjoy this position. they're going to be playing too quickly anyway. I'll give you some ooh and ah moments as any good streamer does. But yeah, maybe cut down on explaining the chess a bit because I just want to think about the interview. So, like, the problem is like oh yeah, I think I know how to make it work. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Oh whoa. What? Okay, Joe won that so quickly. I was just like thinking about how to. Yeah. Okay. That was way too fast. See, this is why he's the Flash. I mean, Joe definitely qualifies now for the second round. Um, I'm thinking, yeah, I mean, probably for the quarterfinals, yeah, it'll be a good match. So for the quarterfinals, I think we should have him on camera. Um, he was not able to arrange it today. Yeah. Anyway, okay. Yeah, I mean, just down an exchange. Not much to talk about here. Though I do love that he plays the aggressive line in the allegations. Ghadi does, so that's nice. Ooh, rook takes b3. We've seen this deflection kind of idea, removing the defender type of idea. Yeah, deflection. Ah, Ghadi not not going for the From's gambit here. He's learned his lesson. Both sides switching up their openings. Okay, knight h6. Okay, I like this f6 stuff. Technically, isn't so great. It just creates weaknesses, and c4 is a good reason why it's not so great. But still, kind of fun, no? To play f6 and try to go for e5. It's principled. It's principled. And some way it's principled, and other ways it's not. But eh. Ooh, that knight got trapped. Yeah, Joe with low time controls. Too fast. Too good, too fast. Okay. So, what's going to happen here? 94. I mean, I like these pawns, yeah? Kind of reminiscent of the... So many lines in the Slav. Which one in particular with that kind of pawn structure? Bishop d6. Very good. I mean, you kind of forget black is down a piece because of his control over those squares. It's really awesome. Okay, castles. Castle and avoid the Haslu. Haflu. Takes. Maybe a5 was interesting. But he doesn't care. Yeah, he should not have allowed this. There's no good way anyway, but like, man, maybe just king 8 preface with like king h8. He hates playing king h8. What do you have against king h8, Reddy? um, 6. And that's it. He was already down a piece, now he's down a rook and a piece. A rook. Basically. Okay. Already having some fun here. Well, his face doesn't show a lot of fun, but yeah. Okay, back to the caro. Let's see. H4. Okay. Ready going for the advanced actually. Ready switches it up. Alright. B3 can't be so correct. Probably black is already slightly better, to be honest. Yeah, getting rid of your light squared bishop and the caro as white. And the advanced caro. And the advanced caro in particular. Usually not a great idea. Because it is le good bishop, right? Okay. B4. B4 is a nice trick. Oh, it doesn't even work because queen takes b4. There's no queen c8, mate. Because the queen on b4 would be pinning the queen on c3, so we don't have queen c8. Sad. Anyway, king d2, bishop d2 is basically the only move. King d2 runs into knight c6 followed by d4. Basically, you're not going to survive for long there. I guess you have king d3, but yeah, you're not surviving much there. There's knight takes e5. Any. Yeah, knight b5, knight d6 check is coming. And if bishop takes d2, king takes d2, and you have rook e1 available. So, not bad, not bad. Joe spending his time here, he castles, okay, takes, king d2 definitely now. Knight d6, what a strange move. That's very strange actually. Okay. Alright. Ghadi really down on time. I'd like to see some speed here. Like, practice your speed, Ghadi, against a strong player. You're definitely losing here, but like, try to find some good moves and not lose on time. That's an important skill to get. Okay, here he lost too much material, and now it's like becomes a bit random. Becomes a bit random because here you're down so much material, you just start throwing away stuff if you want to play quickly, as happened in the previous game, where Ghadi where Ghadi started pushing the queenside pawns. Yeah, okay. Nice pyramid Joe has there. Alright, 15-1. It's a massacre, but that one, statistically, probably, I don't know, maybe like a 1% chance you get that one game against Joe, against someone who outrates you by 650 points. In the Greek ecosystem, I don't know. But yeah, very, very low probability, definitely. Even in 15 games, you shouldn't get even one game. In 16 games, you shouldn't get one game. But Gadi did, so congrats to him. That's definitely a match, something to be proud of. And for Joe, he tried a lot of different openings and got really nice positions, always outplaying. Well, not always, but almost always outplaying. Gadi came up with some really nice tactics, some really precise play. So, yeah, both definitely should be happy about the match. Definitely. It's a very good match and very entertaining as well. Joe by choosing to vary his openings. He made for a lot of excitement. And Joe anyway actually varies his openings. He was a very um, I wanted to say a different word, like maybe well adjusted, but that doesn't really make sense, of course. But no, he's a very determined type of player in terms of openings, like very determined in terms of just keeping the faith in his openings, right? So he always works on them and always believes in them. Kind of like MVL. That's someone who I would say is a very determined type of player. You could use some more derogatory terms, of course, like a stubborn player, but that's of course not true. And I'm someone like that. I'm a very stubborn player. I stick to one opening, and I did say I have backup options, but I rarely, if ever, use these backup options, like 1d4 and 1f4 and other sublines as black. Like let's say the Dutch or anything or something like that. Here you can just take on f6 and take on d5 and yeah, Bob's your uncle. Anyway, yeah. So what I was saying was Joe was this type of determined player, this type of opening defender in a sense, but now he's recently in the past 2 years he improved a lot as a player and he started going for all kinds of positions, and this has definitely helped his growth in some way. So Joe anyway plays a lot of different openings. By the way, the match is over. Let me just say there. Yeah, so he plays this way anyway, and we'll see against stronger players if he does have like one particular opening he's going to try out and then switch to his normal openings, or if he's going to oh, they're still playing. Wait, what? Ghadi won? Whoa, hold the phone. Ghadi won? Wait, what? Whoa, how did I miss that? Because I was talking so much about openings and all of that stuff. What happened there? I outplayed him in the end game. Oh, he lost a piece. Wow. Wow. What a beast. Ghadi. Whoa, whoa, whoa. A well-deserved victory there. Well-deserved victory. Congrats to Ghadi. Okay, Joe won the next game, but it doesn't count for the match. So it's 15-2 to Ghadi. To Joe. 15-2 to Joe. Okay. Oh. I thought, okay. Ghadi is saying he doesn't want an interview. Okay then. Okay. Alright, alright. Okay, so 15-2 to Joe. Congrats to Joe. He moves on. And nice, two victories by Ghadi. That's even more impressive. Yeah, wow, okay. Let's see how Joe gets along in the next match, which will be played in like about 10 days when we finish the first round. Still a lot of first round games. We still have 6 more first round games, first round matches. So yeah, stay tuned for those. Awesome match in my opinion. It was very fun. Very fun to hold the mic here. And yeah, thanks for watching guys and take care.